1:38 o'clock.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Paranormal Guys. We have a great show lined up for you. Let me pay some bills here real quick.
You're listening to a Dare Media Group and Mastiff Media radio station. From Dare Media Group, Radio X Gold, Radio X Country, 6RXM, Radio X Magic, and Dare Talk Radio. And from Mastiff Media, Yerg's Radio, Rainbow Radio, Right Talk Radio, Forward Radio, Mastiff Sports, and Shady News Radio. For more information, visit daremediagroup.com.au or mastiff.medias.
And we want to welcome everybody in Australia. We have a great audience there. Welcome. I believe that it's 11:40 in the morning in Sydney tomorrow, so we're time traveling. 9:02 a.m. in Perth. Good morning to everyone, and welcome to the Paranormal Guys. We want to thank Dare Talk Radio, our Radio X, and Yerg's Radio for allowing us to tickle your ears. We have a great show lined up. Let me just get right into it. We have Jennifer hiding backstage, and she's going to talk about her books and all that fun stuff. Hey, Jennifer, how are you?
I'm pretty darn spiffy. How about yourself?
I like that, spiffy. I'm doing well. I don't think I've heard spiffy in a long time. You might be dating yourself there a little bit.
A little bit. Stole it from my brother.
There you go. You stole it from me, brother. Yeah. So we were talking backstage earlier, and we've had you on before. I remember now. So I'm getting old timers. So
I call it long brain for me, but it just never goes away.
Yeah. Well, I got grandchildren now, so it's even worse. So. Well, you've been quite busy. You're working on your books, and you've been doing the tours with other shows. And how's it been going?
It's great. It's fun. I mean, who doesn't want to talk about themselves and their passion and how they got from here to there and share their work and creative arts? But I'm also listening and learning from other people. Like, what do they like to read? And my to be read list has exploded, and I've had to buy 3 bookcases.
Oh gosh, yeah. Mrs. Sportcat is definitely like, do not buy any more books. And I've had
books and Kindles because you don't have to put them on a shelf.
That's right. I've went to Kindles, and I've had so many authors send me books, autographed copies, and I appreciate every one of them. And I'm like, I can't possibly read all these at once. But yeah, I enjoy it. And well, reading is not just something you do on a beach. You do it to unwind, you do it to get into another universe, to put your mind at rest, to stop thinking about the world going around, burning down around us, and, all that stuff. And so it's interesting, especially with your type of genre, what you got going on. You got a whole series.
Yeah, I'm getting deep into my series. I've just released my 4th book on June 1st of this year. I'm working on my 5th, and I'm starting another project on the side, which is kind of a future dystopian Robin Hood meets Romeo and Juliet with hints of Hunger Games.
Oh, wow. How do you keep a story going for so many volumes?
I don't tend to have problems coming up with ideas. I'm a very what if person. So I spend a lot of time imagining, well, what if this, what if that, and just kind of let my mind wander. And I've created whole stories in my head while I'm doing a 1-hour walk, and I come back and I'm like, I got to write this down.
That's what I was going to say. Do you pen and paper it so you don't forget it?
Yes, I have to. Otherwise, but I mean, honestly, I've got so many ideas that I've chalked up over the last 35 years of writing that I do not have a deficit of ideas. So
that's great. Have you ever just woke up from a dream and been like, okay, that was so wild, I got to put that in something?
Very few of my ideas come from dreams, oddly enough.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, but every now and then I'll have some weird dream and I'm like, this would make a great book. And I'll wake up and I'm typing it out on my phone before I forget it because it's in short-term memory and it's gone.
Yes. Yeah. Doesn't stay very long. Although if I didn't write, I wouldn't sleep because the ideas and the thoughts and my, the what ifs and stuff, they keep me awake. And I do have to jot them down. But usually it's after jotting them down, then I'm like, okay, now I can sleep.
Sense. Makes sense. Let's see if Harley's backstage. She was having some computer problems. Hello,
Can
Miss
you
Harley.
hear me? Oh, you can. It shows now.
We can hear you. Yes. Beat those kids for messing up your computer. So, yeah, I know. Well, Harley, this is Jennifer. JM. Jennifer, when you were here last, I don't know that Harley was here because I've had the hired help is so hard to keep. So
yeah, I can't remember. I know there was a few people on the screen, but I can't remember who all of was there.
Don't worry, I can't either half the time. I have to go back and look. I had a co-host one night and I was sitting there with her name on the screen going, what the hell is her name?
Well, I'm not easy to forget, so.
Yeah, you just beat me. So, so tell us about the Callum Walker series.
Okay, so the arc of the series is there's our world, our time, coexisting magical realm, but there's a veil that separates us. We can't see across this veil because we don't have magic. But these creatures that do can and have, and they've been the source of our fairy tales and our monster stories. And then Callum Walker is a young man that's born with the ability to use magic. He doesn't know why. He's trying to make the most of it. We do learn why as we go through the series, but he doesn't know. He is able to cross this veil because he has magic, and he's learning about this world and encountering these beings and learning about their history and stuff, and adventures ensue. And we follow him through the series as he's trying to figure out who he is, where he belongs, because he's too magic for here, but too human for there, and then master these abilities to survive.
Is he a young character? Or?
Yeah, he's a young man in his early 20s.
Okay.
And then we follow the timeline, so he ages through the series.
Oh, you got plenty of time with him then. Now, are you using
he lives a dangerous life,
I am battling monsters, yeah. Now, did you set it in present day, like with real world events here too?
Yeah, well, when he's on this side of the veil and he's, in it's our world and our time. So it's like, technology as it is today and that kind of stuff. But across the veil, they have magic. They have no need for technology. So it's more of a medieval type setting.
Okay.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. When did you start this series?
I don't know when exactly the idea came to me, but I know I finished my first book in the series, the rough draft, in 2019, because that was the year I was diagnosed with autism and ADHD. And I had thought I'd never shared anything before that. And I thought maybe this is my special interest, writing. And so I had just finished that first book's manuscript. And I said, I'm going to get brave. I'm going to send it to an editor. The worst they can say is it sucks. And if they do, then I know, and I'll just write for myself. But they came back and they said, this doesn't suck. You should publish. So 2 years later, I did.
That's great.
It's awesome. I am also autistic with ADHD, and so are my children. And we had an author on last week who was autistic also. And like I asked everyone, all autistic people have one superpower, which you said yours you think was writing.
Yeah.
Do you think you have any other superpowers? Mine is being, okay, for those listeners, don't mind my words. I'm a boss bitch when it comes to my job, and I get hyper fixated when I'm working, and I click really fast and learn really fast.
I know I can tell you almost every single dog breed there is. I can look at a dog and I know it's dog breed, but I don't know if that's a superpower or a special interest.
Well,
but
see, my middle son, he could do that with flags all over the U.S., like even foreign country, and the national anthems for the world. He knows, can tell you which national anthem that's for.
Yes. Oh, that's cool. I like that one. I know I had a friend who would memorize maps, and he could tell you every street and which ones connect to where. And I was like, that would be a useful superpower.
Well, and then my oldest son, hyper fixated on drawing.
Mhm.
He did the logo for my show,
Oh, cool.
and he is going to go to college here in the fall for graphics designing.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it when people can use their superpowers, their special interests and, use it to their advantage. I know both my boys are on the spectrum as well as ADHD, and I have a feeling my younger one is either going to be an entomologist or a doctor. He's very much a hypochondriac, and he can tell you every kind of bug there is in our neighborhood.
The hypochondriac thing, that's just an autism thing. Because my
Yeah,
middle son, he wants to be a meteorologist and a storm chaser,
yep,
and, like, to touch anything that's
mhm,
nasty, he
yes,
has to have you, like, those gloves that you get from the doctor's office and buy at the store? He has to put on a pair of gloves to touch anything
yeah,
at
yeah,
all, and, like, we don't like our food touching.
yeah, yeah. Or getting something on your shirt. My little guy, my youngest, he's now 9 and he doesn't freak out quite as much, but if he used to get a drop of something on his shirt, he would freak out and strip down naked. We couldn't go out for family meals very
My
often.
oldest, when he was that age, if, like, his food touched ketchup or any
Mhm.
condiment, he would literally go wash it off in the sink.
Yep.
Oh my
So we
gosh.
had to buy the divided plates. This was before I was diagnosed with autism, because girls, they diagnose us later in life, sometimes even as adults, because of the fact that it's we don't show autism as like boys do.
Yeah, we
They
turned it into
always
plus.
diagnose us with depression or
Mhm.
female issues or other things than what it really is.
Yeah. I've even heard of women who are on the spectrum being diagnosed with eating disorders instead of autism.
Like, they didn't diagnose me until I went through the evaluation to get gastric bypass surgery,
Yep.
and then when they took and did this whole big, long, like, 700 question quiz, the
Yes.
doctor comes to me and he's like, "Do you know you're autistic with ADHD and depression and anxiety?" I said, "I kinda figured it because my children
Mhm.
are autistic and all my kids are autistic, so it had to come from somewhere."
Yeah. Well, I know I had a reader point out to me that my entire series arc with my character trying to figure out where he belongs and navigate this, these crazy, like, 2 worlds, basically, our world and the magical realm and stuff, it kinda mirrors my own struggle and journey with trying to figure out my place in this world, and
Yeah,
I
if
didn't
you ever need
intentionally
an
do
ARC
that.
reader,
Yeah.
I volunteer, I signed up for all these ARCs.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah, I
see,
know I was doing some beta
even,
reading too.
like, with like, can you spot other people who are autistic and not tell you that they're autistic?
Mm,
I've
yeah.
done it twice at work. I've gone up like, I've said to 2 kids, and I'm like, "Not to be rude, but do you have autism?" And they're like, "Yeah, how did you know?" I said, "Well, us people with the tism tend to
We
notice other
we
people."
meld. Yeah.
They just tell me I'm crazy. So
Well,
come
see, that's
diagnose.
what they tell us females to begin with before we actually get diagnosed with it, is they diagnose us with all these other issues except for the main reason.
Yes. And I found it very liberating to know because, I think for the longest time, I literally did. I felt like an alien dropped off on this planet. My parents were gonna show up one day and say, "Oh, sorry, there's been some big mistake. Come with us. We dropped you off the wrong place." But to know that, um, I see the world differently because my brain just works differently, and I've tried really hard not to think of it as a disability.
No,
Um
I think of it as a superpower.
Oh, yeah, and those things that would come naturally to people, like, to, non-neurodivergence, like, making eye contact naturally or speaking, learning to speak naturally. I have
Sitting
to learn
still.
actively that. So, I didn't know how to talk to people in junior high or elementary and stuff. I made notebooks. I was like, "Okay, so and so said that, and that was the answer. Oh, there's a smile. That must be what I need to say." I made myself a script to follow so that I could learn to speak. I had to teach myself to
We
speak.
mask a lot,
Yes.
masking.
Yes, and it's overwhelming.
That's why I like doing podcasts because of the fact that I could be me
Yes.
even though out there at times
Yeah.
and it not come across like I've got more viewers since I've stopped masking.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. Some days I'm a little scared to be me. I don't know if the world can handle me, the real
Well,
me.
see, at my job, I've been there under a month, but I have two. I have my seasonal job and then this temporary
Mm,
job. And I know everything that needs to be done.
yep.
I've learned every station in less than a
Mhm.
month.
Yep. Yeah, I never had troubles, especially if it was like this task and then this step and then this step. I could learn it like you just show me once and I'm good. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, I used to be able to find my way through the cities too without a map because I was just like, okay, you show me how to get there once and then I'm good. Unless they do construction on the road and they change a lane somewhere and it disappears and that scares the crap out of me. Sorry. It scares me.
You're fine.
Lane to be in.
We're not good with change. Change does
Yes.
not like my middle son is having to get back in the routine of school.
Yes, we are too. Yeah.
And so it takes him a little while to get in that routine.
Mhm.
So he started himself getting him used to that
Oh,
routine
that's
again.
good. Yeah, that's very it's taking initiative. My kids are too young to do that. An initiative
Well,
by
he set an alarm on his cell phone. He's 14. So he set an alarm on his cell phone at 6 o'clock last week to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning. And he
that's
puts himself to bed at 10 o'clock. I'm like,
we're still fighting with the kids to get their teeth brushed and get themselves in bed without playing with their toys, so we're not
we
quite
still
there yet.
have issues with the brushing the teeth with the older kids, but it's it's a sensory thing.
Yes, yeah.
Like, we had to
Showers.
buy these special toothbrushes that, like, are split down the center to where it doesn't affect them.
Okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have, like, special toothbrushes for people with autism because that's a big sensory issue. They make a l they make sensory clothing for kids that don't have the zippers or the buttons or the texture issue. My kids had all of that going to school, and, like, my oldest son, he is 18 now, and he couldn't wear the khaki pants to school that they required for the uniform,
Mhm. Yep.
so I had to have his doctor write a note stating that he can't wear these pants, so y'all have to accommodate him. So they let him wear black sweatpants to do that.
Yeah, because they were, like, still dark and they were, like you could
Yeah,
blend in and stuff, yeah. I know I had, I couldn't wear jeans for the longest time because they don't stretch, but then they started making the stretchy jeans, so then I was like, "Okay, that's good," because I just felt like I couldn't move. I felt like they were gonna suffocate me or cut me in half. They weren't even that tight. I wear, like, by a size larger, so they're, like, falling off of me. I still felt like I was being restrained.
Wow. I didn't know all these things, so I'm enjoying just
yeah,
listening
with
to stuff.
we have a lot of issues with in public, like, I when I do this, because I know you've seen me do it a lot where I'm like this,
Yeah, I
that's
do this.
stimming. Yeah, or I'll do with my
This.
hands like this a lot at work. It's stimming.
Yep.
It's we're self-soothing ourselves because
Yes.
we're getting overstimulated.
Yeah. Oh, don't give me a clicky pen. My husband says I'll
Oh,
drive him
yeah, they
crazy.
take them from me when I'm in my office.
More
They take
stress
those
than
from me.
yeah,
They
faster.
give me the pins that don't click. They will walk up to my desk and remove every clicky pin from my desk.
Yeah, they did that to me, and I found a way to like, I was taking the caps off and on, and they had to take all the caps away
And,
to
like, they in my office, I work with a lot of older women, so they know when it comes that time of year, they normally put this chair that has this metal bar on the bottom of it. The older ladies come in and they move that chair all the way to the back and bring me a rocky chair because they know that that helps soothe me to where I'm not constantly bugging them.
yes. Yeah, because certain times of the year is worse, eh? Because like,
Yeah,
when it's darker out earlier. Yeah.
and during the winter time when you can't really go and move around, it makes it more.
Yeah, I don't know whereabouts you are, in the
I'm in
world.
Ohio.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I know if, with us, yeah, you tend to hibernate for half the year, and even if it's not snowy and cold
Where are
outside.
you at?
I'm in southern Alberta, just north of Calgary.
See,
And
I'm close, like, when I look straight out, I could see Canada,
yeah,
how close I am to Canada.
yeah.
Just
You
don't
throw
try and swim it.
So we get when there's flames, the fires and all that, we get the
Mhm.
smoke and the flame from all that, and see, this is from my son stimming.
Yeah, yeah. I
Stupid question. What is stimming?
It's like any repetitive behavior. It's kind of a soothing behavior that you do. Like some people like go like this, or like this, or like those people
I'll
that pick
do this,
stuff like
and
that. And it's a soothing behavior. If you're really stressed, it helps to calm you down. I think what they do nowadays in school is they give the kids fidget spinners or fidget toys and
well,
stuff like that.
they did, but, like, at my son's school, you had to have it put in your IEP or your 504 plan
Yeah, same.
because kids who didn't have the autism or any issue like that where they needed the fidgets would just be playing with them.
Oh yeah.
And so like, my kids, they have bands on the bottom of their desk legs
Hmm.
to help with that, or they have a fidget chair that you sit on and it rocks.
Blue one. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Like, they've come a long way because when my oldest son was diagnosed with autism in kindergarten, they did not have all of
Yeah.
this. Even when I was younger, they didn't even know what autism was.
Yeah, same. I mean, I wasn't diagnosed until 2019, and that was only after my son's
Mine
diagnosis.
was in 2021 or
So
2022.
more recently than mine, yeah.
And they kept saying mine was depression or anxiety or bipolar or all this other stuff than what it really was.
Yes, I know I was diagnosed with anxiety, like, years before, and
And
unless
all the medicines that they tried to put me on, none of it seemed to work.
yep. I know, unless you were disruptive or you had
You
a
learn
severe
to
learning
like, us as
disability.
girls, we learn to self-soothe.
Yes, yes. Yeah, because we just I spent a lot of time looking at people around me, and that's probably why I have, I have a little more, like, I like to put those things into my characters, and I can kinda see from their eyes and stuff like that. I'm trying to, because I've spent my whole life watching the world and observing as feeling like an outsider. So,
That's great. So you have incorporated it into your books then.
yeah, yeah. And I mean, the fact that my character would just my main character through the series would just love to be a normal guy, but he can't because he has these special abilities that sets him apart from everybody else, and that gives him access to this realm that nobody else knows exists.
That is awesome. I'm gonna
Mhm.
have to get your books,
Yeah.
like, copies of them because of the fact not just for me, like, my best friend, I keep telling her she needs to get a test done for autism because her youngest son, when I first met him, I was like, um, "Best friend," and I'm not gonna say her name, "Your son is autistic." And then
Mm,
she started watching my kids who were actually diagnosed, and then she's like, "Yeah."
yeah.
And then she took him and got him checked, and sure enough,
Mhm. Well, I know when my kids were really little. Oh, sorry, Glenn, I interrupted
No,
you.
no, I
Glen's
was just
used
going
to
to
it,
ask
I do it all the time.
if there was an actual test for this.
There
I'm
is.
into this stuff, so
Yeah, I went through what's called an ADOS assessment, and it was with a registered psychologist, and it took about 3 days, 3 different visits and several hours each visit, and they talked in depth about your past, milestones, how you would respond to certain situations. I think I had to play with toys, which I don't
And
really
look
play
at
with toys.
pictures
And
and
there was
tell
a
them
book about
what
flying
the
frogs.
picture looks like.
Yeah. I don't know, I still don't get the book about flying frogs. I was just like, "Yeah, they're flying, so what, how, why, how?" I don't care what they're doing. How are they flying? I just and I didn't get it. I didn't get what that had to do with anything. But yeah, and it was a very I'd say it's intense, but mine also had the an IQ assessment along with it, and they were looking also. They did a huge questionnaire. It was like 10 pages long for like ADHD as well.
Well, see, my son was diagnosed back in 20 oh my, hold on. whatever age kindergarten is, back a long time ago, because he's 18 now.
Yeah.
And when he was diagnosed with Asperger's syndrome,
Yes. Yeah. That's what
which
mine was.
that's what we all have. And they changed that. It's not actual Asperger's anymore because they lump it all into autism spectrum disorder. But
Mhm.
it's still Asperger's, and they call that the Albert Einstein disease because Albert Einstein was autistic.
Yes.
Not many people know this
Oh, no,
except, well, as autistic people, we know
yep.
this. And there's a lot of celebrities who are autistic, like, um,
Off the top of
The
my
guy
head,
who the
must,
guy
isn't he? Did I
yeah,
hear that correctly somewhere?
I think he is, yeah.
Yeah.
and the guy who played, um, in Grease, John Travolta, I think,
Yeah.
his son is autistic.
Yeah.
That's why him and his wife are big into the Autism Foundation, and they donate so much money to that.
Yeah. I do remember
And
when I was diagnosed with autism, and I had somebody, 'cause I never hid it. It's part of me, and I don't make it I don't go out there and tell the world, but I don't hide it either. But I know I had somebody come up to me afterwards, mention that I was autistic and said, "What is it like to be autistic?" And I said, "I don't know. What's it like to not be? You tell me what it's like to not be, and then I'll tell you what it's like to be, because it's all I know." And
Did you
or
find the question offensive?
I didn't,
it
no.
well, it can and cannot be when people ask that because of the fact that it's how their tone when
Mhm.
they ask you.
Yeah,
Like,
and I think there's a genuine
if they're asking out of curiosity, that's different, but when they're asking, like, it feels like they're making fun of you. Because I know myself, I tend to get in my head a lot, like, I think people is talking about me or they're making fun of me when they're really not. Like, if I go in a room and people are laughing, I
Yes.
instantly think they're laughing at me,
Yes. Yeah, I think I call it
and
well, the fawning is where, I do that where I, for the longest time, have assumed that everybody's angry or annoyed with me
I
because
do that too. I will like, "Glenn, how many times have I texted you and asked you, 'Are you mad at me?'"
yeah,
I
'cause we
and,
it's
like
hard to see from another person's perspective,
Like,
right?
my best friend, I message her at least 5, 6 times a day, and I'm like, "Are you mad at me?" She's like, "Why would I be mad at you? You didn't do nothing."
Yeah.
"Hello, Chris."
Chris, one of our regulars, says, "Good evening, everyone. Was listening in the car, and the fact that Harley has a child who wants to be a meteorologist and a storm chaser is cool."
Well, see, we grew up in Oklahoma where there's, like, big F5 tornadoes that destroy your house and your neighborhood, and so, like, he is obsessed with weather. Like, he was on the news here in Ohio when we first moved here. The news channel went to his elementary school and they interviewed him because the school told the weather people who came to the school that he wanted to be a weatherman, a meteorologist, and he grew up following weather because his father was. And so they interviewed him, and all he could sit there and say was, "Yep, yep." So
His big
we
break.
started calling him the Yep Weatherman because this was kindergarten. So of course, all he could say was "Yep" because he was scared. The cameras were on him, and he's autistic and not really knowing what to say, so all he could say was "Yep." So we started calling him the Yep Weatherman, and it stuck with him. I grew up in Oklahoma City and lived in Norman, which is right by Moore.
Mhm.
Um My husband was a first responder to that Moore tornado that destroyed Oklahoma in '95, I think it was, and so that's why he got obsessed with weather, and
Yeah.
now my son is.
Yeah. I know I for a period of time, I wanted to be a geologist or paleontologist. I was a big science and math geek in school. I could care less about it.
My oldest son wanted to be a paleontologist, and then he kinda found his super talent was drawing,
Yeah.
and, like, my kids were all obsessed with dinosaurs at one time, and now they're not so much anymore. They're interested, like, my middle son is in maps and US, like his music playlist consists of national anthems of the world.
Yes, that's what you're saying, and he knows pretty much every single flag, you said?
Yeah. Like,
Nice.
you could ask him, you could hold the flag up and say, "What flag is this?" And he'll tell you, and
I know maybe like half a dozen. But I mean, like I said, dog breeds. If you showed me a dog, I could tell you probably, or very close to what kind of dog blends they are even. But yeah, it's just everybody's brain works differently. It's amazing.
Well, I currently have a hellhound wanting attention, so
I have
she'll go in the background and just stare at the camera.
Yeah. That's how smart she is. If she's not getting my attention, if I'm not rubbing her, petting her, she will go into that one little teeny tiny spot and she will stare at me until somebody in the chat points it out. How the hell did the dog know this?
I have a standard poodle and she's like 70, almost 70 pounds. And if I don't give her enough attention during the day when I'm at home, she'll come, as soon as my husband comes home, she'll sit on the couch, she'll lean up against him, get him to pet, and just stare at me like, this is how it's supposed to be, Mom. And I'm just like, oh my goodness. And my husband will sit there and goes, I feel like such a tool. Like you are.
She guilts me into treats. So
They can't speak, but they can tell us all sorts of stuff.
Oh yes. Well, she tries to speak. It's the weirdest thing. She's part border collie, so she does that. Yeah. Well, I don't know how to do it, but yeah. And when she's not getting attention, like right now, she is used to having a fan on her, but I have to turn it off for the show. So I usually get the cold shoulder for the first 20 minutes of the show. So, but today she's wanting attention. So, Jennifer, I hope you don't mind opening up about this as much as you have, because I'm gonna be honest, this could help some people.
Oh, well, that's why I have opened up about things and I haven't kept it a secret. And be surprising, like after my diagnosis, is like how many questions I received from people. It's like, how did you find out? Where did you go? I think my kid might be on the spectrum. Do you think I could be like I do? Well, what kind of things did you notice that you did and stuff like that? And there was lots of questions about people like genuinely wanting to know. The one thing I don't like is I don't like it when people, like you were saying, do I get insulted when people ask questions? The only thing that, and not necessarily assaulted, just kind of more annoyed when people say, well, you don't look autistic. And I'm like,
yeah, that bothers me too. It's like, I didn't know there was a look.
I didn't know that either. Like, I didn't know you could look inside my brain and you're trying to see inside my head, you know?
Or another thing that bothers me is they're like, can't you be cured? Or they act like they're going to catch autism from you like it's a disease.
What?
Yeah,
I'm like, it's a neurological thing that you can't catch it from me. It's not contagious.
My brain is wired differently. Just it's no different than, somebody who's a savant or a prodigy in a certain area, like they're, gifted in some area and stuff. It's just because their brain is different. You can't catch the giftedness from them.
Sure. Yeah. Was it a relief to get diagnosed?
Oh, absolutely. It answered, like, looking back on my life, I'm just like, totally makes sense why I struggled with eye contact, with conversation, why I've always been, very creative thinking and stuff. I was 12 years old. I built a working seismograph and buried it in our backyards to measure the ground vibrations when the trains crashed together behind our house. Well, they didn't crash, they banged together. But I made a working sundial in permanent marker on my window. So I did get grounded for that one. But, just things that I was like creative and like thinking and inventing and building. And, but, writing came about, kind of during a period of time when I was, heading into my teenager years, and I didn't have a lot of friends because I was very introverted, very shy. And I needed an outlet. I needed to understand my feelings that I was having, heading into adolescence and stuff. And it just became my outlet. My mom bought a typewriter because, I'm that old. And it started as a hobby, and then it became a passion. And now it's just, it's continued to be my self-care, my therapy, because it's allowing me to express myself and live vicariously through my characters and explore my emotions and thoughts and feelings.
Well, no. And I will be honest, even as a paramedic, I don't think I really knew much about it. People would say, oh, well, he's autistic. And I knew, well, try not to be loud, the sensory stuff. But Really? They don't teach us anything about it. And
Still to this day, I keep saying they need to do more
Mhm.
training for people in,
Yes.
like, that field for autistic people, because there's some that's nonverbal
Oh, yeah.
and,
yes.
like, and don't wanna be touched because of
Mhm.
their sensory issues,
Yep.
and they just, like, I've seen videos where they've tried to restrain them, and they thought they were being violent because
Yeah.
they were trying to get
And
out
they're
of the
actually
situation,
describing it to
and
them.
they were just
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've kind of just tried to describe it to my boys as it's like your brain is a computer and you have every possible program open. You've got your tab bar on your browser is every single tab you can possibly have that you got music playing here, video playing here, you're trying to find a file, you got something going on here, somebody opens up another program, and then you get the swirly wheel of death and you have
I
to
have a shirt that says, "My brain is like the internet. I have 500 browsers open. Oh, wait, where did that music come from?" And
yeah.
then I have another one that says, "Highway to, ADHD. Oh, look, a squirrel."
Yeah. Well, my son is very much like that, dog on that movie Up. It's like talking to you, the squirrel. And then he goes off, and I was like, I guess the conversation's over. So he's walked away mid sentence. But I know, and I find for myself, and somebody explained it, your brain can't filter things if you are, those kind of things. So, like, if you put on a shirt and it's got maybe a scratchy tag, after a while, you kind of forget about it and stuff. But if your brain is neurodivergent, you can't forget about that tag. You feel it all day long. You feel the breeze in your hair. You feel an eyelash here that's touching your cheek. You feel the fabric that maybe you don't like. You see things. You hear. You're everything in your environment, in all five senses, are assaulting you all day long. You can't filter any of them out. You don't miss anything. You catch everything. So it's good, but it can be very overwhelming.
That is like a superpower, though. I mean, honestly, I mean,
Hmm.
you're like a
I get
supercomputer
such
absorbing.
migraines at
Yes.
work dealing with everything going on at once and trying to mask my issues because these are younger kids and that I work with, and they don't understand that I'm having sensory issues as they're trying to all talk to me at once, and I'm trying to focus on each one
Mhm.
of them and not be rude, but at the same time, I'm trying to,
Not fall apart.
yeah, so I'm sitting there and, like, there's a few of the younger ones who I've heard make fun of me because of the fact that I'm stimming and I'll do this, or I'll be doing this with my hands to try to relax from the overwhelming sensation to walk out the door and not come back.
Yes, yeah, it's basically your body goes into immediate, "I'm being attacked by tigers" kinda thing, and, not just 1 tiger, but a million of them.
And
Um,
for us, it's very hard to make friends and keep them
yes.
because, like, we have maybe one really good friend that tends to understand us and they stick around.
Well, most
But
of
other
the
than
time.
that, it's hard.
Yes.
And
Yeah, I
most of the time, they're autistic also, so they know what we're going through, or they have some other form of something on the spectrum.
Mhm. Yep.
So they know what we're going through. That's the only reason that they stick with us as long as they do.
Yeah, yeah, because there's it's like social boundaries is difficult to comprehend, and the number of phone calls and text messages, and I'd be like, I don't know, like, how many phone calls should I make in a day to the same person? 3? Is that max? I don't know. Or like, and another thing too, like, I hear a lot of people say, "Well, you make good eye contact, you must not have autism." And that's a debunk. That's like you can learn to make eye contact. And I taught my
Mhm.
kids, I heard that so many times. I taught my kids to make eye contact from the time they were babies. I'd like kneel over them and like my face in front of them. And every time they look at me, I'd reward them with some, like, "Oh, good boy," and stuff like that. And so they learned to make eye contact. I didn't. I had to teach myself, and it's still, I struggle with it today. So I can either look somebody in the eye or look away and think. I can't do both. If I'm looking you in the eye, I'm not hearing what you're saying. And so, I had to teach my kids to look people in the eye, and they still can't listen if they're looking you in the eye.
That's fascinating. That's fascinating. And Chris, I'm not ignoring your comments. I just wanted to give the ladies a chance to talk. Chris says, I have a cousin who is autistic. he will talk about it openly when they are asking for information purposes. He has a problem as well when he is asked in a condescending manner.
Mhm.
And he
Yeah.
says, opening up about your past and being able to see other people learn from your suffering so they don't have to are two of the greatest therapeutic things I have experienced in my life. Well, it is good because, I mean, I'm a retired paramedic now, but we didn't learn this stuff. And we would even, I don't want to say we would joke about it, but we would be like that one call, you know, I'm going to respond to a school bus full of hemophiliacs that strike a glass truck or something like that. And that was always one of our worst calls, is if we had something with an overwhelming people that were either on the spectrum or had some type of mental challenges.
Mhm.
And I ran that call. And I was like, I don't know what the hell to do. I called the doctor and I'm like, I got nothing. Some are nonverbal,
Yeah.
some are screaming. I don't see anybody hurt. They were all restrained, but I got nothing.
Yeah.
The doctor, just bring them all in. We'll handle it. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to be easy, but okay, we'll try that.
Well, and every person on the spectrum is different too. So I know my husband will ask me, it's like, so Morgan's struggling today. Morgan's my oldest son. Morgan's struggling today. Do you know what's going on in his brain? And I was like, how would I know what's going on in his brain? Well, you have autism too. That doesn't mean I know what's going on in his brain. I know what I can tell you maybe what's going on in mine, but you know,
It
so
doesn't
And
make it
even then,
mind
it's hard
reading.
to tell you what's going on because
yeah,
we
sometimes
can't exactly explain what's going
Yeah.
on.
like if something's upsetting me, sometimes it can take 2 weeks of sitting and just, you know, trying to figure out what is it that's bothering me. And then I comes up to, you know, and finally will hit me like a eureka moment. It's like, oh, when he said that about the laundry or something. And I've been stewing about it for 2 weeks, not knowing what's upsetting me. And I couldn't articulate my feelings because I didn't even know what I was feeling.
Sometimes I have a hard time getting out what what I want to say, and
Yes.
so I tend to stutter, and then that makes me even more self-conscious because I'm kind of trying to figure out how to phrase what I'm wanting to say and not make myself sound um see like that. It didn't want the word left me. Make myself sound like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yes. And see, I've never had a problem with words, but I've got a larger than average vocabulary, apparently, at least according to 2 editors who tell me I use way too many $50 words. So
Well,
they're like, "You
before
must have in
see
your thesaurus for that." I'm like, "No, I didn't use a thesaurus."
before a couple years ago, I got hit by a car and thrown 10 feet while I was walking and smacked my head on
Mm,
the ground. So
Oh,
I
boy.
have something called concussion syndrome
mm.
on top of the autism and the ADHD. And so words tend to forget them because of the concussion syndrome.
Yeah.
And now I have a I wandered before with the autism, but now I have a habit of wandering even more and not remembering why I'm there. And so, like, jokingly, my friend goes, "When we go out of town in June, I'm gonna buy a come along. So if you start wandering, I know where you are."
Can reel you back in.
It's like a fishing line.
I was
Exactly
like,
what I
"Well,
thought.
that might actually be helpful with the fact that I wander."
I remember going to Disneyland as a kid, and I was the oldest. I have 4 brothers, all younger than me, and I was outraged that my mother put the band on me and tied me to my brother. Like, we had, like, the wristbands with, like, the little cord, and I was stuck to him. I hated it, and I despised him the entire trip. But it was so that it was so, you know, neither one of us would go, like, it's harder to catch, or it's harder for to catch one kid running off on their own. It's a lot easier to catch 2 of them because 'cause they're both going in the same direction. My kids divide and conquer as well, so I totally get it now, but at the time, I was outraged.
There she goes to the corner.
Yep.
Yes.
She's not getting her way. So,
She's
ah.
about to sit right there and stare at the camera.
Well, no, she's coming back over for petting. Um, I could see though that where you would be outraged about that, especially if he didn't like roller coasters and you did, or vice
Well,
versa.
I was 7 and or almost 8, and he was like 6 going on 7. So, I wanted to run and explore and stuff too. I never thought about danger, and apparently that's an autistic trait. You just don't think about things going wrong. Jump off a roof. Oh, I can fly. I won't hurt myself. Yeah, no.
We don't have the concept of fear.
Yeah, I mean, I can feel afraid, but it's usually about things that are not scary. Like the dark. I'm still afraid of the dark. I'm not afraid to admit that.
Eye contact and stuttering here too. This is Chris, by the way. Have gotten decent control of the stuttering problem. My eye contact still needs work.
Yeah.
That's always a struggle with me.
Yeah.
In some ways, though, I feel like this has helped you with your novels.
It has, because I'm seeing things from sort of an underdog perspective. I mean, not saying that I am an underdog, but I'm just seeing things from, like trying to figure out the world from an outsider's point of view, because I don't feel like I fit in. And I've spent years watching and observing and analyzing every conversation I have. It's like trying to learn how to read between the lines. I still can't get sarcasm. I can give it. I can't get it. And there's a lot of jokes that are don't get me started on idioms. They're just annoyingly confusing. Like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It's like, I'm literally picturing somebody taking a little baby tiny tub and tossing it out the window with the baby still in it. And I'm like, what? I know that's not what it means, but that's what I picture. And I can't get that thought out of my head.
We had a guest on a few weeks ago that had to learn English as her second language. And she said, this is the hardest language to learn because not like you said, idioms. And then there's things like I'm in the South and we use like y'all. That ain't an addiction. Well, it may be.
And we use a lot.
Yeah. And so she's like, it's the hardest language to learn and comprehend. And she was Oriental. So they wrote from, right to left. And they read from right to left. And then when she became an author, she had to program herself to do that. And I was like, wow, I never thought about that. So, but yeah. Well, now I'm going to delve into the paranormal because I hope we haven't offended you by taking up so much time talking about this.
Okay.
Has this helped you see anything paranormal or have any paranormal experiences or?
I would say I've been very sensitive my entire life. There's been lots of incidents. You're saying that, like thinking about paranormal incidents and stuff. And I'm just like, well, which one should I talk about? Because I've had a lot of experiences throughout my life. We've also lived in very old houses that not just creaky, doors and floors and stuff, but, like dark shadows out of the corner of your eye and balloons that follow you down the hallway and kids that, walking down the hallway with them and they turn around and run the other way. And you're like, I think I should follow them, but I guess one of my most recent experiences was my husband and I went last summer to Alcatraz.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And I was told by my friend, because we did a couple's vacation without the kids. It was our first vacation without the kids. We went to San Francisco, went to Napa Valley, went to Muir Woods, Santa Cruz. It was great because, we didn't have a honeymoon. So, it was kind of like a makeup honeymoon bit thing. But I was really excited about going to Alcatraz because I like the old histories and like buildings and stuff. And I hadn't actually heard the story, some of the, like the accounts of prisoners, potentially escaping and they don't know. But I hadn't heard about the stories about cell 14D. And my friend was telling me about that was one of the isolation cells and stuff. And I guess there's a lot of stories. I know them now. Maybe I wouldn't have gone in there if I'd known them ahead of time. But she's like, you got to go in there. You got to go in there. And so I went in there and it's like a box, but right inside the door, there's this little narrow area where it's kind of barred off. And all the other isolation cells, the gate was open. So you could go into the inner part of the cell. This one, the gate was closed. And so you can go in there. But as soon as I went in there, it's kind of almost got muffly and stuff. And I couldn't hear it. Like the sounds right outside the door, I couldn't hear. And the other cells were kind of quiet too. So I thought maybe it's just the, design of the cell. I felt like there was somebody watching me and almost pulling me towards the bars. There's nobody there. So I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to do the tourist thing. I don't like it. I'm feeling kind of dizzy. I'm feeling kind of nauseous. I'm just going to, snap a couple pictures and then go. As I'm turning to leave, and I'm walking through the door. Something banged against the bars. There's nobody in there. Something banged against the bars, and it was loud enough for me and half a dozen people outside to hear it outside the room. And even the husband or the guy friend of the person who went with us, he said he heard it too, and it sounded like something hard banged against the bars. And that was one of my more creepy ones, and it kind of stuck in my head for a long time, because I really did feel like there was somebody in there, and they were not good. It was very dark presence. So, yeah.
Wow. And with your sensation, I don't know how to say it, but feeling of all the senses,
Yes.
how did that affect that?
I knew that I wasn't a good thing, and that's why I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take a couple pictures and turn around and go back. I looked through the pictures and the videos afterwards and stuff, and I didn't see anything, but I certainly felt something. And yeah, it was very strong emotions of, anger when I was leaving, like, no, you're not good, that kind of thing. And I didn't catch anything on video, didn't catch anything on camera, but me and half a dozen people heard that noise, and there was nothing to cause it. So it was just that whole place is creepy too, but that's particularly was a little more than I intended. But I've had experiences my whole life, so I kind of knew as soon as I went in there that this was not a good place to be. And yeah, I didn't spend more than maybe a minute at most in there, just because it was so negative and dark.
Wow. Well, that's a good contact, because ghost hunters will go long periods of time and they never have anything.
Mm-hmm.
That's incredible. In one way, it's creepy in another, but in one way, it's pretty cool, especially that other people heard it and it wasn't just you, because I'm sure you'd be like, oh, okay, that was just in my head, or I would be. And
yeah.
They're like, did you hear that? I'm like, yeah, you heard it too. Okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of people that will dismiss a lot of things. Oh, you just imagined it and stuff like that. Well, you weren't there. You didn't feel it,
Yeah.
And yeah, it's one of those things you have to have been there and felt it and heard it. I don't care if anybody doesn't believe me. I know what I felt. And I'm not saying that there's, ghosts everywhere there, but I know what I felt. I know what happened there. I know what I heard. I know what other people heard. And, I've given up on, I don't tell everybody all my experiences and stuff throughout life, but I have them, and it's important that I know.
Absolutely. Like, I'm a big Bigfoot guy, and it's not my job to prove to someone he exists. I know he does, or he or she, it, whatever it is. So, so, and
I'm big into like the supernatural, like possessed dolls.
Oh, yes.
God.
Yeah.
You and those damn dolls.
Yeah,
I love them dolls.
Creep me out.
I've seen, I know in our house, I got my house saged quite a few years ago, because my son was waking up. My son's very sensitive as well, and he's a lot like I was when I was a kid. And he was 3.5, he was 4, somewhere around there, and he's waking up and telling me that there's a man in a hat in his bedroom that wakes him up at night. And I know I went in there one day, one night, not one day, it was in the middle of the night, because he was crying, and I went in there and I saw something move it through the wall, like through the closet, and into our, like through that area out of the house. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm getting the house saged.
It's more common for, like, because all my kids have seen something too, and they quite often do, and I have too. With our brain, the way it works, we're more open to seeing and believing the paranormal.
And it's sometimes it's not even a matter of seeing, it's just a matter of feeling. Like, when somebody holds their hand over your skin, you can feel their warmth, right? They don't have to be touching you, but you can feel it. But it's like, it's not a physical feeling. It's more of a, I wouldn't even say emotional feel, maybe a little bit emotional feeling, but you feel that there's something there. And yeah, that's kind of been something that's kind of been consistent all my life. And I wouldn't say that I write that into my stories, but I do know that my character is sensitive, and has experienced things. And I will probably write books like that in the future. I know I have written books about that kind of stuff in the past, and I will write like that in the future.
So is your books under J.M. Shaw?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
I use that pen name because 90% of the female authors that write in the fantasy genre write romantasy, and I didn't want somebody to pick up my books seeing my name, Jennifer Shaw, and thinking, oh, this is going to be a romantasy. And it's not. It's a fantasy adventure, magic, adventure, action, some supernatural suspense kind of all sprinkled in for good measure.
And where did you say you could find them?
So if you go to my website, jmshawauthor.com, you can see all my books. There's links to them online. They're available through Amazon as a print. They're available on Kindle. The first two are in Kobo. The others, Kobo and Barnes and Noble ebooks. The others will be eventually. And there's links on the bottom to my email, my Instagram, my Facebook. I've even got a links to Goodreads.
Awesome. I'll put that in the show notes too, by the way.
And I just subscribed to the newsletter.
And follow me on Facebook and Instagram too, so you'll see where I am.
I think maybe I don't follow you. I need to go look. It's hard to keep up with who I do and who I don't follow. I'm scatterbrained half the time anyhow. So I think they're trying to diagnose me with chronic fatigue syndrome right now. So
well, see that also, like, Glenn, I'm telling you, I've told you before, you should get checked for autism, because being tired all the time
too is very common as well. I was recently, within the last couple of years, diagnosed with autoimmune gastritis because, and it started because they tested my B12 and my B12 had bottomed out. And now I have to get monthly injections because I can't absorb it because
like I have to take vitamin B12, vitamin D, I take 2 handfuls of vitamins a day.
Oh yeah.
Not just for the bariatric part of it, but because, I have to take magnesium and iron.
Yep.
Because these are all issues that I have that are quite common in the community.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I didn't realize, I was like, what is the connection between autism and gut health? And there's actually research is going into it. Apparently there is a connection, but they just don't know what. And they've,
yes, I've got issues with my gut too, and so do my kids.
Yeah. I'm wondering what they'll discover in the future.
I feel like I'm scolding a child here. Well, Jennifer, I've enjoyed having you on. I've learned a lot. If you've helped one person on this show, and we've got a pretty far outreach, you're doing a good thing. And so I'm glad of that. And I especially am proud to know that you're putting that forward and not hiding it, because a lot of people hide or mask, like she said, mask things. So I'm glad to know that. And I'm glad to know that you're incorporating it with your characters too, because like she was saying, somebody reading it will probably pick up on it. So that's all good.
I'm sharing your link on the Asylum with Harley and Joker's Facebook page.
Well, we may have a surprise from Jennifer here soon. So, Jennifer, I got to let you go for tonight. I want you to come back. You said you were working on the 5th book.
Yes.
So when that comes out, you tell Mickey, I want to get on this guy's show.
Yes, absolutely.
We would love to have you. So, and Harley may want to have you. She does a show separate from mine as well. So she may want to have you on hers as well. So, yeah, I will put the links.
Get a message from a Harley Ingram. That's me.
Okay. I will forward it to Mickey as well.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. All right, Jennifer, have a great night. We will see you soon, I hope.
Yes, I look forward to it. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Yes, ma'am. Bye-bye.
I'm going to be buying her books.
Your husband's going to be so mad at me. I'm making you spend so much money.
Well, actually, these come out of my fund, so.
Okay. All right. Well, Harley,
and
as you know,
some of them are on ebooks, so I could get them for free on Kindle.
Oh, there you go. Well, as you know, we always have 2 guests, and tonight is no exception. We always have such
Chris said, "Thank you so much, Jennifer."
He did, yeah, and I think I put that up there. I'm not sure, but we have Miss Gomez hiding back here, and I'm sorry, I
Hello.
don't know what the D stands for, so I'm just calling Miss Gomez. So,
You can go for DC, and that's perfectly okay.
okay, well, I'm Glenn. This is Harley. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello.
I feel intimidated. I was reading your bio, and you've got this huge long bio, and you're a group speaker and a psychotherapist. I'm like, good Lord, she's gonna look at me and go, "This guy's nuts." So,
Not at all. Not at all. It's all good. You can totally skip the bio.
well, no, it's good because you have put a lot of work into your stuff. You've got a lot of very high energy things, actually. So, where do you get the energy? I want it.
I don't know, because tonight I was feeling kind of like, I don't know, exhausted. So I took a nap before coming to talk to you guys. I'm like, I might need a nap. Like, it's been a very long day. So here we are. I'm pumped.
Oh, I have read one of your books.
Which one?
I've read Death's Intern.
Yes.
I'm scrolling through your catalog of what you got, and I was like, that's in my library.
See, I'm all excited. It's going to be fabulous today. So, yes.
Now I'm excited.
Well, and to circle back real quick, because I want to get you to talking about your stuff. You're talking about feeling down and energy. I was looking up because of the hurricane. I'm not sure where you're located in the world, but the hurricane, because it's taking so much energy, there's some science behind it actually taking people's energy and bringing them down because of that. And I was surprised, but
it causes migraines, if you didn't know that.
Oh, yeah,
of the pressure in the atmosphere.
Yeah, so that could explain it, which is, I guess it's kind of weird because we're all connected to everything at once, so to speak. And so it pulling energy for it to survive as a storm doesn't surprise me that it would be bringing people down. And I'm on a tantrum here. I had a guy on the show once that said, if you've ever been in a neighborhood, and I'm a paramedic, and you notice that they're just all down or having it, he goes, you can actually have your negative energy go off and go out through the neighborhood and go down. And he said, it can extend to other people. And he said, especially evil people. And I was kind of shocked, but he did a demonstration. He did the dowsing rods, and he would say, all right, to somebody, say, I want you to have a really bad thought, and they would cross, and he'd go, all right, and he would instruct his dowsing rods, I want you to show me where this is, and it would point him, and he'd walk outside of where the energy was, and it would wide open, and when it would get to where the energy from that thought was, it would cross again. And he's like, this is how
I'm a true believer, because I'm an energy vacuum. I'm like a little curvy when it comes to energy. So if people tend to have a bad day, I have to be much more guarded around people because I will pick it up. And there's days that I've been like, I'm not even mad about that. Like, why am I taking these things personal? So I am a true believer that you have to be careful around you because you will pick up other people's energies, whether you like it or not sometimes.
I agree wholeheartedly. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry, DC. Now let's talk about your book. Sorry, I went on a little tantrum there. So tell us all about your stuff there. I was looking up your stuff, and well, of course, she has read some of your stuff, but you do have some great.
Did he freeze?
I think so. I was wondering if it was me.
I thought it was me too. Books. Oh, you froze.
All right, we're back. I don't know what happened. So how do you come up with all this stuff? I mean, you get so much.
Probably because I have another imagination of madness in my head going on. I think that's the part. My dad used to make fun of me that I've been spending way too much time making up things about ghosts. So I just tend to just imagine things and go with them what ifs and kind of plot. So yes.
Did he freeze again?
I think so. It's me. It's following me. I'm doing this to you guys. I'm like, what's going on? You're losing Glenn.
No, Glenn has issues at times with his computer.
Okay.
Well, let's just continue talking to you about your books. What made you want to start writing your books?
So I have one of those days. I have been a storyteller all my life. So I've been writing stories, I want to say, since I was in high school, probably younger. I started actually writing around 17. I found myself, I went to school for film and television, and then I found myself kind of like doing that adult thing when you find yourself sick and tired of being an adult. And you're
Mhm.
supposed to doing all the right things, and then you hate all the right things. So that's kind of how my writing journey took me here to start publishing and just getting much more creative.
Okay. So what is your favorite thing about your characters in your books?
I
Yes,
did not.
Chris. Glenn's energy got taken again.
We're not going to tell him that. Hopefully he'll come back. I'm like, oh. So I write, and it took me a while to realize that I write really quirky characters. And one of my readers described them that way. And I was very upset for a while. Until I had a friend that came back and told me, but you're quirky. I was like, oh, I guess that's true. So I'm having to
I
come
can
to terms.
see you in your book. I really can. Now that I've met you after reading your book, I can see your characters, you in your characters. It's amazing.
So here's the really fun part about Desk Intern. Since you read Desk Intern, a lot of people are convinced that I'm ISIS. I'm like, I'm not. Like, this is not. So I have, when I first started writing, a lot of my friends like, I can't read your books at all because I'm trying to read them how you talk, and you talk really fast. So like, I tend to try to read them at the same speed. I'm like, that sounds very painful. They're like, yes. So most of my friends are like, I can't read your books. I can't keep up with you.
Well, I'm autistic, so I could keep up with the way the books are.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And now that I've met you in person, I'm going to have to keep reading the other
Thank
parts in
you.
the series. Glenn,
Super
are you
fun.
coming back? Let's see what is going on with Glenn.
Do we totally lose him? Is he coming back?
Are you okay? So, let's continue the show since we're waiting for Glenn to come back. So, tell us a little bit about your books for those who have not read it.
So we can start with Death Intern, which is book one in the Intern Diary series. So it's based on the four horsemen of the apocalypse. So I have a Army veterans that moves to Texarkana. So for anybody in the Texas area, this takes place in Texas. And she kind of, how I said it, accidentally, what happens, kills Dad's old intern. Now she has the job. So you're looking at the adventures of ISIS pretty much through its first person. So you get urban fantasy, tons of madness and shenanigans as she tries to navigate the world of the supernatural that she never knew was there.
That was Glenn.
Is he back?
He said to please continue because he can see and hear us, but his signal is squashed.
Oh, hopefully he'll
So
come
I guess
back.
he's gonna share the comments because, well, I can't do that. I don't have that ability. He doesn't let me do that.
You don't
But
get the
that's all
power?
right. No, I don't get the power to do that. He said his dog took his energy.
Oh. Yeah, that opened down some other people's houses, so it could be for making fun of them. This is what we're paying for.
Yeah. Okay. So you said you started writing when you were in high school.
Mm-hmm.
So that right there says a lot because it keeps you high school's hard to anyways to focus and be a high schooler. And the fact that you started writing as a high schooler, that's awesome.
I don't think I thought much about it. I've always wanted to create, so I don't think I thought too much about the whole process of like doing something different. Like I've always either been taking pictures or doing something different. So yes.
Okay. Where can readers find your books at?
So easiest place right now, we're talking about Desk Intern. I have a whole entire campaign that I want to give away 1,000,000 books of Desk Intern. So you can check it out on my website. So you can go to dcgomez-author.com and pick it up for free directly from there. Or you can pick it up in any of your favorite distributors for free as well. So it's available worldwide for anybody to enjoy. So yes.
It is on Kindle, just so y'all know.
Yes. And you can pick it up on Kindle as well.
Yes, Chris said whatever he is looking at, he is making great eye contact. I can learn from him a lot. Well, now he. Are you there, Glenn?
Ooh, something's happening. Maybe.
Let's picture change. So, oh, he's back. Nope, still froze. Okay, Glenn, if there's any questions you have for her, you can send them and I'll ask.
We can type them.
Chris said his eye contact comment angered him.
He's focused. It's committed to this. So yeah.
Fixated on the screen. So, what is one thing that you want your readers to know about you?
That's a tough one. So usually I'm very much, I think I'm known as like optimistic about everything. So to me, everything, like the glass is always, half full. So I'm, or Glenn is still missing. I'm like, but at least he can hear us. Like I'm always looking for the positive side of everything, something to kind of be very, I also come with a very dark sense of humor. So everything to me is going to be funny regardless of the situation, which drives my family insane because that usually involves like hospital visits and I'm cracking jokes. Like I always tell my friends, I'm like, I'm always practicing my best jokes on like the medical staff. So if you laugh, then I know you're my people. If not, I'm like, God, such a good joke wasted. So that's usually where I go with that.
I have a very dark sense of humor as well, and it's hard to find people who can get the joke and not get offended by whatever
It
joke
is.
it is.
It is really hard. And a lot of the times, I think it's a concept that we have to be serious all the time.
Glenn
So
said you would make a great paramedic.
Really? Oh, that's good. Well, mine is the whole blood thing. I really don't like the blood part, but yes, I'm all about cracking jokes. It drives my brother insane because he wants me to be serious. He's like, I need you to focus. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Life's too short to be so serious all the time.
Thank you. Exactly how I feel about it. So yes.
You gotta live for the moment. Let's see. Glenn, help me out here with questions. You're the one normally leading the show. I don't know.
You're doing great, Harley. You got this. You're doing great.
Okay, I asked about her books. Let's see. Let's tell us a little more about your books altogether.
Okay, so we want to go through a whole bunch of them. So I have multiple series. So if you are urban fantasy, you can pick up my Reaper's World, which has this intern. If you do not like fantasy, which I'm going, really? Why wouldn't you like fantasy? I have a series that takes place also in Texas, small town. It's contemporary dark humor. So I have a depressed cat lady turns arms dealer. So that's usually a lot of the things for the people who don't enjoy my fantasy world, want to try something that is contemporary. It is a bunch of middle age, as I've been reading ladies, women of a certain age running the world, and as much shenanigans as you can possibly imagine. So it's usually a lot of fun and wild.
That sounds amazing.
So yeah, the cat lady special is hysterical, and it's kind of it's very bonding oriented. Somebody asked like, if it's only for women, I'm like, anybody can read it. Like my readers have picked it up and loved it just because they're insane. So I have a bunch of grandmothers trying to sell guns because who says no to your grandmother? Let's be honest. Like who says no?
Exactly.
So
That sounds like that would make an awesome movie right there.
So
Bunch
much
of
fun.
crazy little ladies cat ladies trying to sell you guns.
Yeah. So as they're trying to deal with it. So book one is the cat lady special, book tub's a desperate cat lady because if it wasn't enough trying to run an evil empire, then she has a dead body in book two. So she's like, you got to be kidding me. So a lot of my books I get to play with some of my obsessions at the time, and I think a desperate cat lady was all about the blacklist. because every single character in here wants to be, Mr. Red, and they're like, no, stop, stop. Like whoever gave them cable was gonna hurt for this because they're all insane. So yes.
That's pretty awesome. I well, Glenn, I already asked her when she started writing, and I asked about the characters in the book. Well, what is your favorite character in your book that you have written?
So probably my favorite and everybody's favorite is Constantine, that happens to be a 5,000-year-old talking cat. So Constantine is the guardian for all the interns, and he is probably as mad as you can possibly imagine, because for anybody who has a cat should know that they're all insane and want to control you. So he is that spicy little cat that tells you as it is, and you just have to take it because he's insane. So yes. So Constantine has been everybody's favorite.
If your book was if your book's this series
Mhm.
was turned into a movie, who would you want to play your main character?
So I go through stages. So when I first wrote it, I wanted Mila Kunis to actually believe. Granted, Isis is like 5'8", and I think the height would be a little different. So I go through stages depending when I think about it. Right now, I want the new female lead from Lara Croft, who played that character. I was like, I think she'd be amazing. So yes.
Glenn asked, what type of cat is it that you for your character?
So Constantine happens just to be a little tabby cat. He's also, as you go through the series, find out happens to be also shapeshifter because he's 5,000 years old, and death, ride or die. So he gets to just kind of change sides throughout the series and tortures people.
That's pretty awesome. I have 5 cats, so I tell my husband that when he passes away and I'm old, my cats, they're gonna eat me when I die.
So my joke about that is I'm convinced my cat is going to eat my eyeballs, so I have to behave. So like I'm convinced every cat is plotting to eat her eyeballs. I don't know why
Exactly.
your eyeballs.
My cats will sit outside my door at night when I go to bed because my husband stays up at late at night and I go to sleep before him. So they're all sitting outside my door like they're trying to get in there to eat me.
It's a plot. I'm telling you. If they're not trying to take over the world, they're going to eat our eyeballs. I don't know. That's my thought on that one.
Okay, so why are you giving away a million books?
One of the things that I realized this year, specifically as an author, like we have tons of chaos in this world, and people literally, I think, have stopped knowing how to people. We're all angry. We're all tired. One of the biggest things that I wanted to do is like, as an author, what do we do? So Elizabeth Gilbert says we're all about brain candy, and that's kind of the things I want to spread. I want to spread some joy. I want to spread literacy. I also own the book, so I get to do this and really enjoy it, and have people enjoy a story that hopefully for a few hours you can deal in somebody else's shenanigans and madness without having to worry about your problems. So that's kind of my biggest campaign this year. It's like for the next year, how do I give away some joy that people can enjoy?
That is amazing because it's hard in today's society with everything to keep being happy all the time. So the fact that you want to spread the joy, that's amazing.
It's one of the fun things we can do as authors is kind of spread the things that we do in the things that we enjoy and love. And books keep me happy at the end of the day. Like regardless what's going on, books tend to just keep me very entertained. So if I can share that with other people, it's kind of fun. And now I can do it on my website directly. So it makes it even easier for people just to pick up a book and get it directly emailed to you. Just get lost in a story.
Would you ever consider turning your books into audiobooks?
I'm currently working on that process just to see if I can get them out there. My goal would be to actually put them in my YouTube channel so people can listen for free. I'm in this whole campaign. I was like, how do I spread this as much to people and have them really enjoy these books? So yes.
Because I know personally myself as an autistic person, it's hard for me to sit and focus on, like, even with it being on my phone, to
Mhm.
sit and focus. And so I'm huge into the audiobooks because I could just put my earpiece in and go and do whatever and still listen to the book.
I
Let's
have
see.
converted to an audiobook listener, reader, I guess we can look at it in the last year. just because it's the only way I can consume books and actually still get things done. So
Exactly. And
I feel very productive.
I've got 3 kids that live at home, and so it's hard to sit and read a book without wanting one of them wanting something. Let's see, lead into okay. Um, so what is one piece of advice you would give an up-and-coming author who is starting from scratch?
One of the hardest part for me as an author that I'd like to remind people is to enjoy the writing process. I think sometimes we get so consumed in trying to edit the book as we write or trying to get all the perfect roles that we forget to enjoy writing. I think as a writer, that's the creation process to me is the most fun. So if I can give any advice to any aspiring authors, to enjoy it, to enjoy the story, to enjoy the first time put it on paper, to enjoy your characters. I tell people that I tend to don't write a backstory to my characters as I write them. So like I meet them on the page, like I go on a date with my characters. So I truly enjoy that process. So if I can invite other authors to remember the reason why we write and the reason why we enjoy the stories, it's a lot fun to read them when you actually go on the other side. So yes.
Chris said that's a great perspective. Making two very different people laugh at the same thing can be the icebreaker between them to see that they have more in common than they think and open dialogue. Okay, so you want to tell us about the Dare series that you have?
So I have a collection of devotionals, which is very interesting for the girls who's writing about the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and I'm writing about demons and devils and all that fun stuff. So during COVID, I got very much inspired. I think it's been that season of what do you write about? So I tell people I'm an urban fantasy writer that just dabbles in other genres. So the Dare collection is specifically based to help people just kind of get inspired. So one is there to believe, one is there to hope, and one is there to love. And they're all focused on the concept of we can all get better and you can all dream and we can all heal regardless of where we're at. So the Dare collection specifically designed for very much self-reflection and healings. So I tend to write things that I enjoy to do. And as much as people might not enjoy it, I love self-help books. I enjoy the whole process. I enjoy journaling. So that's kind of that collection. If you enjoy journaling and kind of having prompt exercise, it's a fun way to do it.
I love journaling. It helps with like me keep perspective on what happened in my day because I tend to forget. So I like journaling for that purpose.
Do you go back and read your journals later?
Yes, I do. And then I'm
Oh,
like, what was trying to say?
I am
Where did that come
notorious.
from?
I'm notorious for journaling, but then I never go back. So I was like, how long do I keep this? Am I ever going to read them again? And why am I collecting them? So I have a few of those around the house.
Is it hard to get your thoughts onto the paper in your self help books?
Uh, Only if I'm trying to really censor what I say. If I'm just letting myself write, I tend to just whatever comes to my mind is usually where I write. If I'm finding myself trying to be much more eloquent with my writing, then yes, it becomes very difficult. If I'm not censoring, I'm just letting my thoughts. Yeah, I tend to write like nobody's ever going to read it, so it gives you a lot more freedom. It's like how I dance. Like nobody's ever going to watch it, so you just have fun with it. So yes.
Are you surprised by how many people have actually read your book and any of them when you go back and you look at how many books you've sold and how many people have actually downloaded it?
So it's been crazy. So since April, we have had about 12,000 downloads of this intern for free as part of this campaign. And that to me is mind blowing just because I love these characters. So when people enjoy them with me, I feel like a little kid. Like I get that same excitement as every kid. So if you can think of your favorite author and you get to meet them, you have like this whole like, oh, I'm the same way. So to have people, I think one of my greatest honors is anytime a reader comes back and says, I read your book and I like it, you're like, did you really? just because I don't think anybody really has to come and tell us these things. And when they do, it's extremely humbling. And it's just that feeling you get of like, let's talk about my favorite people. So we do tend to have a blast.
Yes, I read Death's Intern when I was sitting at the hospital waiting for my husband to have his breast removal for cancer surgery. So I just read that here, like his surgery was June 10th. So I just read that here recently.
I'm having this moment. I'm like, oh.
So, and I really loved that book, and I'm planning on getting the rest of the series for that.
Oh, you have met Constantine and the team.
What was that?
I said you have met Constantine and the team.
He says, in your alternate history series, is there a period of time that you are most passionate about?
I have an obsession with the Renaissance period. Absolutely. I have Renaissance and ancient Egypt. So you get with Constantine's and the origins of Constantine takes you to ancient Egypt, like right in the height of that period. And then you have Rise of the Reapers is right at the fall of the Roman Empire. So it is alternative history. You actually get to get a little bit of like, if you follow along, how the Roman Empire fell. Constantine kind of takes a hit. It's like technically really wasn't a bunch of, barbarians that attacked them. It was a fight between, death reapers and vampires. So I enjoy taking historical moments and just kind of adding a little magic to it.
You know who I would see playing your main character? Gal Gadot.
Yes.
She would be perfect for that. Chris says, being a fan of humor, were you one of the kids in school that always was in trouble, or were you one of those people who was a humor sniper who picked your spot so you didn't get caught? He said he was the second.
I was a combination of a little nerd and a smartass. I think that was the part. I just kind of played along on both sides. So I usually tended to have just ongoing commentary about everything. As I got older, progressively, she just got worse. So now I just tend to be very much that person who just gets in trouble for just. I have nicknames for everyone. Like my characters all have nicknames. My vehicles all have nicknames. So the vehicles in the series have nicknames as well. So it becomes an ongoing joke. So yes.
That's awesome. Let's see. Glenn's typing. This is a very weird show, Glenn, just so you know.
You're doing great, Harley. You are. I'm like, yes.
He says, having nicknames, is that the way you keep up with everything?
Technically is my way to cheat when I can't remember my character's name. So I have one of the characters in the series happens to be Eric. I remember his first name, so Eric, and now I finally remember his last name was Smith. So Eric happens to be a witch / cop in the series. And for the life of me, I could not remember this man's name or what I had named him, because going back would have been too easy. So Isis goes through the series calling him, Mr. Sexy Pan or Angry Bud, and she just keeps coming up with all these names. So all the readers like, oh my God, that is so funny. I was like, yeah, I could not remember Eric's last name to save my life. So we just kept calling him something through the entire book. So it's more my take when I can't remember who they are, which is going to give them a nickname.
Chris says, anybody who calls themselves a combination nerd and smartass is an author right up his alley.
I totally am. There's nothing I can do.
Well, Chris, if you want to look, the first book in the series is on Kindle right now, and it is really good. So check her out.
It's super fun, super kind of goofy. So yes.
Well, and like the prices for the other books in the series, they're not that bad on Kindle. They're really not. And I think you guys would actually enjoy it. Let's see. What is your, like, this may sound weird, but like some authors have a favorite time of day to write. Because I know I've interviewed one before, and she liked writing early in the morning when her kids were asleep. What is your favorite time of day to write?
So ideally, I'm a morning person, so early morning would be great. Doesn't always work that way, but I'm a seasonal writer. I don't know if this makes any sense to people. Like for a person living in Texas, I'm probably in the wrong place in the country, but I really enjoy the fall and the winter, like seasons. Like those are my favorite time to write as a whole. I don't feel like I need to be outside. It's not 100 degrees. It's just none of that. So unfortunately, I tend to never plan well enough to pick my writing time, but I prefer early mornings is fun. I prefer the winter to write. I prefer legit spring, fall, not summer. Texas has 8 months of summer, so I don't know why I'm in denial about
I
this, but
grew up in
yes,
Oklahoma, so I completely know.
yes, this is
I
my
moved
struggle.
from Oklahoma to Ohio in 2018, where we have all the seasons. And I our first winter here, we had snow. And I didn't know what to expect with that because we never got snow. We got ice,
Yep.
but no snow. Chris said he's going to get your book. She laughs at my stupid comments, so he's a fan.
Thank you. Happy reading.
But I grew up down in Oklahoma and I've got family in Texas, so I completely understand about the seasonal writing because sometimes in that area it's just too hot to do anything except sit in front of the fan. This is how he trains me. That's what Glenn said
You're
on
doing
the in
good.
the comments. He said, "This is how I train Harley." Glenn, I'll remember that later.
I can't help you, Glenn. You're just setting yourself up for failure. Like payback's gonna be bad. I'm like trying to help, but good luck, Glenn.
Oh my. So, let's see. I've asked about your books. I've asked about your characters. If you could go back, like I know you said you liked the the time frames. You told us that. Would you go if you could go back to those time frame, would you go like be a time traveler in that time frame and live there?
Oh God, no,
Like
not at all.
I like the Renaissance and I love oh, I can't think of the era where they wore the big like skirts with the corsets and the
Ooh,
hoops, like you had to
like
wear the hoops
Victorian.
under it. Yeah, I love the Victorian era because, well, all those women they looked real pretty in their big poofy dresses and all that.
So
Like the whole Casablanca and Gone with the Wind era.
I have no issues. I know I'm prior military, but I have no issues admitting I'm a wuss. I'm not interested in dying of disease. And like these people didn't shower that much. And like all the things that can probably kill you really early and they all die in their 30s. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. Everybody says I want to go back to the good old days. I'm like, I don't know about that. They had like polio rampant in those days. I'm good.
Glenn said, what did you read growing up?"
Mm. Oh wow. Let's see. I did lots of murder mysteries. So I am big into all the cozy mysteries. Those are like tends to be usually my
Babysitter's
go-to.
Club and
hmm All the fun
Junie
things.
B. Jones and
I did lots of vampires. So I did a whole bunch of that side. So yeah.
that's awesome. My daughter when the Twilight series came out, she was in like 4th or 5th grade and she read that whole series and I was like, "You're little reading these." She's like, "But I love reading." And we've always encouraged our children to read because knowledge is power and if you
hmm
don't grow your brain, you'll lose it.
That's such a good thing to do, especially at that age. Absolutely.
Well, I mean, and nowadays kids are so hyper fixated on their cell phones, their tablets, their
hmm
iPads, their devices, which us as adults, we've become hyper fixated on them too. But like, we didn't have all this when I was growing up. So we had to read paper books, not our phones. So what branch of the military were you in?
I was actually active duty Army.
That's awesome.
Mhm.
Chris said, would your teachers in school be surprised that you became a writer?
I think some of them will be. I tend to be very left brain, right brain. So most of my teachers thought I probably was going to do something more either in television or I was going to do something in math. So the fact that I'm writing probably is going, really? Okay. So yeah.
That's awesome. Glenn, you are something else this episode.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
Well, I mean, I interviewed an author before, but I didn't have to do a hour show. So for me, I have autism, so it makes it hard for me to stay focused on the topic and not just wander off of the topics.
You can talk about anything. I will follow you along. So pick whatever you want to discuss. We can chat about anything.
He said, tell us about your time in the military.
Uh, so let's see. I'm a lot older than I look. I think I can put that as a disclaimer. So I joined the military right after college. And the reason I joined the military is I wanted to learn about people. I went to school for film and television, and my goal was to actually write scripts. Like I wanted to write stories, but I realized at 21 and right out of college, I only knew about like Dominicans and film students. I didn't have enough. So I joined the military for that. So I was in basic training when 9/11 happened. So just to kind of put things into perspective. So my goal was, to go in, I was going to do my 4 years and we were going to, write stories about that. And then because I went to NYU, so I was in New York City within a couple of months of 9/11. So I remember when 9/11 happened, I was in basic training. And I think that's kind of when life changes. You go from like, you have this idea of what you have planned, and then life hits. And I just, became an adult. I did about a year in Iraq, active duty. So I'm one of the people that can say I had a really amazing experience when it comes to the military. You get to see the best in people. You do get to see the worst, but I had an
My
amazing
husband
year.
said the same thing. He was
Mhm.
Air Force, and he went to Kuwait, and he was a first responder to the tornado in Oklahoma that hit more. And he said helping clean up the wreckage and everything like that, it makes you see things different when you're like in that situation. And going to Kuwait, like he has a weird quirk now where he hates the word thirsty. He said because in Kuwait, people didn't come up to you and say they were thirsty. They came up to you and asked for some water, please, because they didn't know that word. And
That's a
so he said that changed his life being in the military.
it gives you an appreciation for people and also gives you an appreciation for the things you would do for others without thinking about it.
Yeah.
You do tend to get to know people in a much more intimate level. And the fun thing about the military, I was saying, nobody cares about your past. Like, you're there, you live in your moment, and then you realize whatever you
Yeah, he
came
said
from,
the
nobody.
people that you serve with become your family.
Mhm.
He says you have your own podcast. You wanna tell us about that?
I do. I have a podcast that I interview authors, and it's called Inside the Minds of Authors. I started it because I was looking for a different creative author. Like I was finishing the Intern series, and I was looking for something different creative. So the question came back: what can I possibly talk about for long periods without getting bored? That's kind of the communication that happens. So I'm like, I talk to tons of authors. I have tons of author friends. I enjoy books. I can talk about this forever. Was not expecting to be doing a podcast for 5 years, and like 200 and so authors later, I was like, I was not expecting this to last this long. So I enjoy having those conversations.
And it's a
It's
good
just
way to get other authors' books out there and get your
mhm.
books out to their viewers, and that's amazing. He said, "How did 9/11 change your life?"
So here's the interesting part. Till this day, I have not seen all the clips of 9/11, like of the planes crashing into the towers. I was not allowed to have televisions at the time. because we were still in training. My biggest thing about it is I knew when that happened that our country had changed. I knew in that moment that we were going to go to war. And my biggest part is like I needed to do whatever it takes to defend my family and to protect them. And my biggest part for serving, because I was already in the military, was like I don't want my family to actually have to do it. Like I was very much aware, which if you think about it, like at 22, I was very much aware. It's like I'm willing to sacrifice everything to keep them safe. I don't think I had that feeling or that sense of purpose to that moment and be able to do it. I remember when we finally got back, we were doing night shooting in the military and we were coming back to the barracks and it's just everybody was crying. I was not able to talk to my parents till a couple of days later. And we couldn't get on the phone. We were trying to figure it out. There was not much information for us. We went from training to having to be on lockdown. Every military installation just changed. The world just changed overnight. And it gave you a different sense of purpose and it gave you a different sense of understanding of what that means. And that freedom wasn't free. That was kind of like the reality that hit home really hard.
Do you have trouble reading or watching about 9/11?
I don't do much of a 9/11, I can tell you that much. Things that changed drastically, I try to avoid military movies. Like before 9/11, I was watching, Saving Private Ryan, I was fine. Now I don't. I tend to not watch most, if any, military documentaries or military movies or military centric.
It's funny, my husband's the same way. Like, he loves those movies, but when it comes to holidays that's specifically for military
Mm-hmm.
veterans in the military, he is emotionally wrecked and depressed on those days and just wants to stay in bed. And, like, you know how most places do military eat free on Veterans
Mm-hmm.
Day? He refuses to go to it because in his mind, there's other veterans who deserve that more than he does.
I normally never go out either. So it has been one of those things that changed drastically. I used to love fireworks. My brother also served. He was in Afghanistan. I did Iraq. Like
He
neither one
can't
of
do
us,
fireworks, he can't no.
no, at all. We
Glenn
don't do
said he
fireworks.
still can't read books about it or about 9/11 or watch documentaries,
Mm-mm.
but he knew firefighters in the buildings, and he said after 9/11, the superheroes movies took off.
Hmm. Yeah, I completely don't read about it. I don't try to watch it, and it's just a different sense of. I to this day I can't do funerals. Like everybody has triggers, and we all have things that make us put us in a different place. I don't do funerals very well. I know everybody's like, well, nobody does funerals. I'm like, yeah, I'm just not.
My husband said the same thing. After being in the
Mm-hmm.
military, it's a whole different thing.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Chris said 9/11 had to be a huge change in a matter of hours. Your career objective and its time frame completely changed. Did you ever have second thoughts about your decisions to join?
No, it was one of before I joined, I used to joke about it because President Bush was in power. It's like, I'm going to join the military and President Bush is going to declare war because I have a dark sense of humor. When 9/11 happened, I did not at all question it. We did have soldiers that were like, I joined for the college money. I wasn't planning to go to war. That concept never hit home. Like, I never actually had any doubts that I was not going to serve. I didn't have any doubts that I shouldn't be there to begin with, which is interesting because if you ask my family, like, you made it through the military, I was like, I'm the most like girliest, wimpiest kid in my family. Like, we're surprised you made it. I'm like, thank you for the vote of confidence. I feel so much better about you guys. So no, but don't regret it. Absolutely love my military family.
Where was your favorite place to go while you were in the military?
So once again, remember, I have a dark sense of humor. I feel like the army lied because I said I wanted to see, foreign lands and they sent me to Kansas. I was like, that's not what I meant. Like, I know I went from New York City, but that's not what I meant. So ended up in Kansas. I think I never got the really cool vacations. Like people went to Hawaii. I went to Iraq. I was like, that's not what I had in mind. So usually every time I'm like, yeah, no. So
Yeah, my
favorite place?
husband, he went to Kuwait, he went to Canada, he went to quite a few places because he was young and he volunteered for a lot of flyaways.
Good.
And
Also,
he
the Air
didn't have
Force.
kids, so he volunteered for everything.
The Air
Glenn
Force has really
said,
cool missions too.
yeah, he loved it. He was an AP.
See,
Glenn said, now that you have lived through both 9/11 and COVID, has these things changed your life?
I am much more conscious of the time that we have. I'm very much aware that we need to live our lives to the greatest. Like, I'm a really much believer that people should live their greatest life now. You know, most people tend to live with a lot of regrets or a lot of fears. It's one of those things that as the older I get, the more I'm going, live your life and enjoy. You know, I have a friend that says, you know, cause no harm, but take no crap, and just enjoy life and truly have no regrets of who you are and what you're meant to do.
That's awesome. It's an awesome way to look at things in life. Because I know my kids are young and they're two are in high school and two have graduated high school. And my daughter's going to college. She's graduating from the community college here, about to go to a big school college to become a early ed. She's doing early childhood, like the preschool teachers,
Ooh.
but she's also taking on um, special education. Glenn said, "Tell us if have you had any paranormal experiences?"
So I am very much aware that the paranormal is out there and I avoid it like the plague. So I write about it. I know that it's out there. I don't tend to tempt fate a lot, except that the last 2 weekends ago, I got invited. For anybody who's in Texas, I got invited to Jefferson, Texas, which I did not realize is the most haunted place in Texas. It has tons of haunted houses and locations, and went to visit a friend. They have a bed and breakfast, and I'm like, oh my god. So I'm taking the tour because I think it's amazing, it's beautiful. She's like, it is haunted, and I was like, and we gotta go. Like, I don't know why I'm here. Like, what are we doing here? So they're giving me all the stories of the things that are moving and the things that go flying in this house, and I was like, and it just got dark. Like, it is pitch black. Why are we still in this house? Like, we gotta go. We gotta go now. So no, I would not be the one having those. And if it happens, I am so much in denial. I was like, listen, I have rules in the house. Unless you're paying rent, you can't come visit. Like, I don't, you need to be in your side of the world. I'll stay in mine. And we just, you know, coexist quietly away from each other. So that's how I feel about it. Absolutely not the same person. Like, I'm not chasing anything. I'm like, yeah, I'm good. It'll be great.
Do you believe in like there's a lot of skeptics that believe in, and Glenn's going to shoot me for this one. Like, do you believe in Bigfoot and like vampires and like the Annabelle doll?
I'm going to tell you, Annabelle dolls are scary. Let's just put it in there. I don't want them to come visit.
Raggedy Ann dolls, yeah. Like there was so many things that had happened when they took that doll out of its case on tour.
Yeah, no, I'm very much. I don't know about Bigfoot, but I'm not gonna go find him. I'm just gonna put it this way. I'm not gonna go chase any of this. So no,
Glenn
I'm
says,
sure.
so you're really not a vampire.
So the joke is, most of my friends. So one of my dear friends, which is this entire comment about vampires, I was making fun of her because I was like, you can't find Dominican Republic in a map, but you believe that I'm a vampire. It's like, aren't you a vampire? I was like, girl, really? So yes, but I am allergic to the sun. I'm not gonna deny or not claim that I'm not a vampire.
Like, you know, I'm not completely like full blown allergic, but every year when summer comes, my arms, I get all these white sunspots all over my arm every year. But I
That's how it
still,
starts. That's how it
hmm
starts. Be careful. This is the beginning of it.
but you know, I'd rather stay inside anyways to where I don't have to deal with people outside my house. I like my computer friends.
I'm not complaining. I don't like the sun that much, so it's okay. We have a very love-hate relationship.
Yes, Glenn, I know you're a no to the dolls too. I'm going to send you an Annabelle doll in the mail. Remember, I have your address, Glenn.
Oh, this is payback, Glenn. Panic. She tried to tell you, panic, Glenn. This is not
I
good.
know where you live.
I don't think I can help you, Glenn. I'm sorry. Like, sending you prayers.
She'll throw some holy water at the
I think
screen
so.
for
That's
you.
all we can do for you. I was like,
Glenn
good
said you have
luck.
a fascinating background and it's very well spoken. He really appreciates you coming on the show.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
And like if you get another book coming out, just message us and we'll bring you back on the show if you want to come back on and talk with us.
Oh, would love
Okay,
to.
go ahead and tell us where you can find your books again.
You guys can find it directly from my website, which is dcgomez-author.com, or you can find them in any of your major retailers. So most of my books are wide, so you can go from Amazon all the way to Barnes & Noble, so just have a great time.
And those viewers that are on The Asylum with Harley and Joker, they will be on our Facebook page. I will share her link to her website for you guys. And Chris says he agrees with you. The people who chase the paranormal experiences with the dolls are either going to have nothing happen or more than likely have their lives turned upside down, and he wants neither.
Chris, I'm totally with you. I'm not testing fate, so I figure if I don't go looking for it, it doesn't have to find me, and we'll be all happy the way we are. I'll just write about it. I don't actually have to experience it. I do fantasy, not like, biography. So that's how I feel about it. I'm like, it'll be all great.
And he said, what are your future plans?
I currently actually have a new book coming out. I am doing a cottagecore. My last book came out last September. I did a spicy retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, and she was not the good one. So it was a
Oh, I need that book.
serial killer / assassin, depending how you're looking at it, and she's definitely not the good one. So super fun, crazy twist. The new one coming out, it is almost a bad family reunion, if you can possibly think about it, Reaper style. So,
And we can find all your books on your webpage, right?
yes, you can.
Okay. I'm going to have to check that one out since I've already read Death's Intern. And I had like a big obsession with Little Red Riding Hood because when I was in high school, I did Into the Woods and my character was Little Red Riding Hood and my husband was Prince Charming when he was in high school.
Oh,
Two different time frames. Glenn said, how long does it take you to write a book?
the writing part, not that long. It takes me a good 3 to 6 months to actually come up with a story. I am a plotter, so normally once I have an idea, I can plot very quickly and go from there. I do percolate a lot with my stories. Like I think a lot about them. I think about my entire book before I start writing. So once I have an outline, I can write pretty quickly. The process to get there is usually what takes me a while.
How many times do you go back and change like little things once you read what you wrote and then you go back and change it?
So here's the part. I'm the weird author that I will write the book the whole way through and not look at it till I'm done before I go back. So I will write the whole thing and then I'll go back and do the whole read through and edit. So yes, I found out if I try to go back, I never get it done because I'll just get stuck in like chapter 1. Like I never move forward. So I don't tend to go back while I'm writing.
That's amazing. It takes a lot of perseverance to not want to go back and
I'm always behind a deadline, so not really. This is called I'm always like late, so never I don't have time to go back if I'm trying to finish the book. So yeah.
Chris said, can you repeat your podcast name so he can follow you right now?
Absolutely. It's Inside the Minds of Authors. We did this season all live on YouTube and Facebook, so the actual recordings are going to come up this fall. So you'll be able to catch all the authors that we had in there, and it's all genres, all different kinds of books. The fun thing about it is each podcast starts with a reading, so the authors get to do a reading of their books. So then we have a nice little discussion.
I might have an author for you.
Sweet. Absolutely.
So I will look you up and message you her name because she writes dark, spicy romance.
Ooh.
And she just came out with a new book herself.
I don't do romance very well. I'm trying. It hasn't worked really well.
She does. Hers are like, on TikTok, they have the smut. That's her.
Okay. Pretty good.
And I've had her on my show before. Her books are good. And guys, if you do not go check out any books, check DC's out because her books are awesome. I've read one of
Oh,
them. I could go from experience. Glenn said, I want everyone to go and download and read her books.
oh,
She has an amazing talent, very rare in this world.
thank
Yes.
you so much.
Thank you for pointing that out. I missed it.
Thank you so much.
Glenn, just wait till I can see you. Okay, guys. I am not sure what else Glenn wants me to do.
You have done amazing. You did great. See, you got an entire hour.
Glenn said he's so glad that we had you on here, even though you zapped his energy.
I think something else sapped your energy. That's what happens when you're talking about other people bad. I'm totally innocent. But if I did, I picked
Yeah,
it up because I
Glenn,
feel okay.
it's something else that got you. It wasn't her. It was the dog. The dog zapped your energy because she was mad at you because you didn't pay attention to her tonight.
That could be it. Pets have a way of doing that.
So, do you have any cats? Because I know you said that you.
hmm I have my cat is actually 20 years old, who is the inspiration for Constantine, and the husband has two. So we got three cats who I had to close the door, else they would have been marching in here yelling at us because I'm not
Mine
paying
do
attention
that
to them.
too. They like to get in front of
Mhm.
the camera and demand attention. Chris said
Yeah.
that you need to come back. He's putting in a request now.
Oh, absolutely. Let me know. I would love to.
Yes, we need to have you back on when Glenn could talk to you himself too.
I would love to. That sounds amazing.
Okay, well, Glenn, you know I can't end your show because, well, I don't have the controls to do any of that. Oh my. So, okay, you, my autism's going all over the place right now. Um, he said your next book needs to have you come back and visit.
I would love to. It should be fun.
And I'm going to have to go on the site and check out your your book about Little Red Riding Hood.
It's called Cursed by Fur. So yes.
Then it gives me a little. Okay. Well, guys, go check out all of her books, and we will see you next time. And we will definitely have to have you back to talk about your new book.
Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, guys. Well, that is it for this episode because, well, Glenn's not here to exit us. So I'm going to say goodbye. Whenever he presses the buttons. Nope, you're still not there. This has been a very interesting episode. Yes, thanks, DC. It was amazing having her on the show. Guys, go check out both authors that was on our show today. And don't forget to go like and subscribe on Para or Normal Guys and all of the other shows in the network. Okay, Glenn, sign us out.